Hey guys, welcome back to Epic Tiki's Take. We're finally back. It took us forever. What?
Nothing.
God damn it.
You had
To
one
start over
cider.
now.
I haven't eaten
Start
today.
over now. Piece of shit.
Still had one cider.
Hey guys, welcome back to Epic Tiki's Take. My name is Luke Soin. With me today is JoJo Lewis
Hey.
and Mark Burg.
Hello.
They're both comedians. You already knew that. We're back because The Walking Dead just started and we wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
Really think you're gonna take this community from us?
Mm-hmm.
So we're having Game of Thrones withdrawals and this is the closest thing.
We're not gonna read the books. We're just gonna watch a different show instead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know it's not set in a fantasy thing and it's not a book, but whatever. It's a popular show. People die. It's violent. It's crazy.
It's just low fantasy, guys. It's
There's
soft
a lot of
sci-fi.
fantasy with how the zombie virus works. We don't need to get into that.
may as
No,
well
we
be
can
done.
make a whole episode out of that.
Yeah, we could talk about how every time blood gets in their mouth, they should be zombies, but whatever.
No,
it doesn't matter.
they're supernatural zombies, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But we're going into season 6, episode 1 with the title. What is it? First time again.
Oh, who cares? Well, JoJo, you haven't even seen the last two seasons.
That's the thing.
I gave
haven't-
him the cliff notes.
Yeah, he did. Mark.
Yeah, he
even
gave me-
briefed me, which it's been a while since I've seen him. So
Yeah,
it's
I
kinda-
didn't see the past 2 seasons because someone somewhere told me that they were bad. So going into this, I was like nervous because I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to know what's happening. But then I saw the title and I'm like, oh, this seems like, all right, this is supposed to be like a sort of a start point if you didn't watch the show previously.
Wait, so-
and I was extremely wrong.
So were you really confused when it opened up with Rick blowing someone's head off?
Rick. Do it.
Yes, I didn't know what the fuck was happening most of this episode. And even after...
You're like, this is the worst campfire of all time.
But here's the thing, even after you explained it, it still was a bad episode. Like, this wasn't a really good...
okay,
this wasn't a good start.
I didn't like the structure of it at all. I didn't like the black and white flashbacks, which I was joking earlier that it was probably like one of the writers was like, I know, let's give an homage to George Romero and do half the episode in black and white, but only the flashbacks.
I thought they were doing more like, hey, do you guys remember seasons 4 and 7 of Lost where you weren't sure if they were on the island or not
yeah.
anymore? Let's have these confusing cutscenes.
But that's what like you could tell pretty quick that they were different because of the color.
Well, obviously, but the stupid thing about it was that was all stuff like they could have just shown in sequence.
Yeah.
They could have
Oh,
just
yeah.
done it
There
in
was nothing...
sequence.
I'm not defending it. I think it was stupid.
I thought it
and
was-
I was annoyed by it until like 3/4 of the way through.
I thought it was cool that they opened up with the, like, there's a fuck ton of zombies out here. Like, they're waiting for the iPhone to be released. But then
in a quarry.
yeah. But then they went back and then they did the black and white. I was like, okay, so we're gonna get like maybe 10 minutes of what happened in between this time and how did we get here. But no, it was like 2 minutes of that, and then we're gonna get into present time. And they're like, but let's go back again, and then we're gonna go back further. And then we're gonna go back to where we don't fucking know anymore.
Well,
we're just cutting.
It was confusing because some of the flashbacks felt like they were out of sequence too. Like,
Totally.
If they had gone from like a guy getting shot in the face, and then it was like everything that happened, but it was like, we'll go back to this part, and then that, and then
It made sense to open with the guy getting shot in the face. Even for me who didn't know anything, because I'm like, all right, this
That was
is
the
probably...
last thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the last thing that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
Right.
way to start a season
Blow the
premiere.
heads off.
Show the very last thing that happened in the previous season. That just
Yeah.
makes sense, like,
Right.
from a narrative. But then you open up with, all right, now there's zombies in a quarry, and there's trucks, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like even people who knew the show...
is this a deleted scene from World War Z? Like,
Exactly.
they had to
I
climb
feel like
up
people
out
who
of there?
knew the show
I-
saw that scene and were like, the fuck is...
I-
did I miss something?
I almost thought they were like, so that was the beginning of the season. Now this is the end of the season, and then we'll start somewhere. We're not sure
Oh,
yet.
that would have been even worse.
Yeah.
I hate when they do shit.
Like, did they
that.
get off the island? What's happening?
In terms of, like, the stuff in the episode that I, like, enjoyed, there were some things where I was like, oh, this is cool. Like that one part where Michonne and... who's the other guy?
There's a lot of other guys in the show.
No,
Yeah.
well, it
There's
was
a lot of
Michonne.
people.
It was Michonne, Rick, and then the dude with the bow staff.
Morgan?
Yeah.
They're
I didn't want to
standing
say
around,
the other
Morgan.
black guy.
and
so
they're
you didn't wanna
staring.
say.
Morgan's like, "Did you take my last power bar? It was peanut butter."
Oh yeah.
that was really funny.
You know what else is cool though? I feel like every season they try to introduce a new gross zombie, and like right at the beginning when they come through the trucks,
Oh,
you
the
get
one
like
who's, like,
open,
peeling.
exposed rib zombie.
He pulls himself through the two and like it just rips all of his flesh
Yeah,
off.
and at that point it's like, why is he still able to move? Like that's
yeah.
not. There's not enough.
Again,
muscles there.
supernatural zombie. They don't make any sense. They're
Yeah.
not supposed to. Do you guys ever feel like the zombies overact?
Yeah.
Like the ones that like they know they're in the shot and like got more makeup than the other guy. They're like, I'm gonna
This
go
is gonna
full
be my
ham
big break.
into this zombie. I'm gonna clench my jaw like I'm doing
like-
meth because I am.
They're looking at it, I was like, yeah, they gave me fake teeth and stuff. They just tousled my hair and gave me a big coat.
Dude,
This
there
is
was
bullshit.
There was one guy
I could be a homeless guy. Like, I'm just gonna walk to the next set and do that.
At the end, when the horn's blowing and they're all moving into the woods, there's one guy who literally looks like they just threw ashes on him. They're like, "You're good, get out there, kid."
Chimney sweep zombie.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
good examples of like, yeah, these zombies are kind of.
No, there was one in particular when they're showing all the zombies in the parade, and there's one guy who's just going like, like right at the camera. I was like, dude, keep walking.
I didn't notice any of this.
It's
stuff, by the
interesting.
way.
Oh, I
It's-
overanalyzed that shit.
It's interesting watching the zombie procession because then you realize like how little it takes to look like a zombie, and really what it takes to look like a zombie when you're walking around is to walk relatively normal speed, but move one of your arms in a dumb way.
Yeah, or you're dragging
drag
a
a-
leg.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
just
okay.
like one dumb limb makes you a zombie.
You know, like at the comedy spot, there's one homeless guy that walks around and like
Ground Chuck.
I don't know his name is, but it's a tall, skinny black guy, and every
not
time I
Ground
see
Chuck.
him, if I couldn't see very well and I had like I needed glasses but I wasn't wearing them, I would think that guy was a zombie because that's how he walks. So there was new characters that they introduced, and none of them were that memorable except the guy with the dreadlocks, black guy.
The whole it felt like this whole episode was kind of like.
Let's point out the races in The Walking Dead.
I thought that was a weird interaction too. Like Eugene was manning the door, and he's
Dude.
like, "These people come up," and it's like I would believe them too that they're supposed to be there, but at the same time, it was very like, "Man, just let us in." He's like, "I'm not okay."
Yeah,
Like, it was just-
it was like 30 seconds, so I'm not authorized to do that. Like, man, let us in, or I'm gonna beat your ass. All right.
I kind of
Yeah.
felt like this whole episode really didn't do anything
it was
other
build
than
up.
Well, it didn't
More
do,
build up.
There was nothing that happened other than look at this cool set piece we made. Look at this awesome thing with the fucking quarry.
That was
look
the-
at the parade.
Yeah.
Isn't this stuff cool, you guys? We had a helicopter for the last scene. Isn't that great?
At least they're still,
that was the whole episode.
They're still celebrating Thanksgiving in the apocalypse, so that's kind of
That is how I felt about it though when like they show
parade, so.
how many tens of thousands of zombies there are. Like, you guys, we were able to afford that.
That's gotta
Are
be.
you not entertained?
I thought it was really interesting how I don't know the guy's name, but the guy that Glenn almost killed in the forest at the end of the last season, I call him douchebag.
Jabroni.
That he was like so on board with helping, and he felt bad. Like he actually was like, "I'm wrong. I did everything.
Yeah.
I wanna do
Go be a
stuff
good
now."
guy.
Yeah, his
promise.
pride
Yeah.
got in the way. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was
Like,
cool.
all
but
right.
it felt like
It's a little forced.
over the season, it was like all of a sudden he feels bad. Like,
Well, no,
he
I
should
mean,
have
they
felt
sh-
bad after Noah got his face ripped off by zombies.
No, he
in a
was
rotating
he
door.
was still hella prideful because
Still
Glenn was
heartbreaking.
just saying like, you can't go outside the wall anymore. So he was hella prideful, and that's why he wanted to kill him.
But I
But
think-
then at the end, they show them like helping each other get out of the woods and back to
Yeah.
Alexandria.
I guess that kind of could do it.
But it was a little ham-fisted with
Yeah.
the like Glenn's like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do, and you're gonna listen because you're my bitch now.
yeah.
Like and him being like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But I like that because at least like he might fuck something up, but it won't be like from a bad place. Like
There's-
before, it was like he's a piece of shit. Now he's not so much a piece of shit, but he's still.
They're,
Right.
they're
And-
setting him up for a part where he's gonna save Glenn, and then Glenn's gonna be like, "I'm sorry."
I told you
Or-
could do it, buddy.
Or Glenn's gonna die, and he's gonna feel even
It's gonna
worse.
be new Glenn. He's gonna take
But-
Glenn's wife.
But I think that's been the whole the whole setup for this season so far is
like,
them
you are
just
mine
showing,
now.
look, these people in Alexandria don't know what the fuck is going on in the real world.
Yeah.
Like they don't when they're building up the wall like further out and then 4 walkers approach them and Rick's like, have at it, you guys, there's only 4 of them, and they're like, ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
And then Morgan has to come in and like
Yeah,
boast
they
after him.
all just fuck shit up.
Yeah, I love that Morgan's on the show again. I remember
Oh my god, yeah.
the first couple episodes of the whole show, he's on there, and then you don't hear from him for like 2 seasons.
Then he shows up in a one-off.
Yeah, and
And
that was
I'm
a
like,
great
oh, that was-
episode.
He had a great Raider camp.
That covers the narrative of that character, and now he's back, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
And he was normal, then he was crazy, and now he's stoic. He's like a
Shaolin
traveling,
monk.
yeah,
Pretty sweet.
kung fu.
Yeah. Was there anything else happen that was like super good in this episode? Carter gets killed because he gets eaten by a very low-level zombie.
I like that
bit in the
because
cheek.
I like that Rick was like very honest about like I wanted to kill him, but I was like I don't need to, I guess. But he's gonna die,
Yeah.
and then he dies, and then he gets.
Well, that's the whole thing that they're
space
showing
eaten
is
off.
like, look, dude, if you don't learn how to fight these things,
You're
and,
dead.
like,
Yeah.
look for them, and
And it-
sure enough, he's
I
like,
mean,
I'm
that-
gonna run by the
Yeah.
one tree that a walker is stuck in and
That's
get my face bitten.
It felt like that scene was dumb because it felt like he wasn't even trying to hold it back, and he was just like, "Oh, bring it
Well,
in close. Oh no, let me bring it in close again." Ah.
By now it's like let's say it's been 4 years at the least. These zombies are weak. Like, they're not strong. They're like, they
hasn't
got
been that
bones. Our audience member is nodding.
No, seriously, it's only been it's been a little over a year in like the show's time frame.
Are you sure? 'Cause
Yeah.
we've been through like 2 winters at least.
Well, then it's 2 years.
It's always like over the season break.
Nah,
They're like,
see.
remember that was tough? Like, I remember before the prison they had at least one of those.
What's the baby's name again? Judith?
Judith.
She's not even 2. Maybe 2 years total.
Point is, that was a very low-level area, and he died.
Joke about the
there was a
iPhone.
thing. Morgan kind of hit on Carol for a second. That was interesting.
Wait, when he was like, "What were you outside of?"
Yeah,
Well,
but
were
he kind of had that like.
Were you a cop?
And then she was like, "Yeah, whatever," and she walked away. Like she
Did she
seemed
say
like
anything?
not.
I was really hoping.
I remember that happening, but I also was like, I don't care about that.
I was really hoping
No,
she
I'm
was going to
just-
be
yeah,
like,
but
"I
it's
was
a
a home
thing.
ec teacher."
Like she's lying to him,
No, like she was dead serious. Like what? Like yeah,
Well,
I
maybe
made
she
the
was.
best souffle.
or was she a stay-at-home mom? 'Cause
They
I
never.
We
They
never know
said.
what she
Oh,
was.
In the
I feel
last
like she
season,
probably
the only
was.
one you find out about
She
is
was very
Abraham.
repressed and like.
Now she's like girl down.
How are they gonna fuck? They need to fuck.
They need to fuck.
All right. I did like
Okay,
their
yeah.
plan. I have to
Good.
say that I like that they were actually proactive about we need to do something about the quarry of zombies and like just watching you watch like 8 more fall in the back.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like
and the
you
truck
guys
was
didn't
gonna fall and they were gonna get out, but at the same
right.
time,
So they're like you guys didn't really think this through.
the way it ends is, oh, this was actually a pretty terrible idea because now they're all coming for the city.
Well, that was the great thing because at the end of the last season, obviously I was like, I want to know more about the wolf guys or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
they're
the
called.
creepy guys, which we didn't talk
Yeah.
about yet.
Well, they didn't really show up at all, so.
No, but the horn went
But they
off,
did a
and
little.
presumably it was them.
Well,
we
yeah,
don't-
we're assuming, but maybe like
It could have been
somebody
someone at the-
passed out, or
It could have
fell
been
in a
someone at the
car.
house, like, stupid. Like, that's
Yeah.
also a possibility.
No, but that shit was loud.
His
Oh,
head's
so we
on-
don't know
we
yet.
don't know.
We don't know what it is.
Final verdict.
This episode was a startling disappointment.
I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. I was like glad that the show was back, but I wasn't like nothing really crazy happened. It was like denouement. How do you say
Denouement.
that?
Denouement.
French people. Are you French?
No.
No.
You look like you could be a French guy.
No,
I read.
Doesn't he look like he could be a French guy? Jojo, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at BuckyGums. You can find me on Instagram at BuckyGums. And you can find me on Facebook at JJL Comedy. Feel free to tell me how wrong I am.
Do it. And Mark Burg, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at Mark J. Berg. I don't do anything online. Find me on PlayStation 4 at Admiral_fail.
You can find me at Epic Tiki Comedy on Twitter, at Epic Tiki on Instagram, Facebook, just look up Luke Soin, I'm the only one. YouTube.com/Epic Tiki Comedy, you're already watching probably, but please subscribe, tell your friends, and also listen to the sexy podcast that I do with Jared Guzman. It's really cool. Alright, we'll be back next week, hopefully with more Walking Dead reviews. Bye!
See you guys.